Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thanks so much for joining me. Well, today we're going to create a card using the Spellbinders Small Die of the Month Club Kit for September 2020. This month's club kit is super pretty. It creates two beautiful diamond shaped frames. It's called Hello and Thank You. There's 18 cutting dies this month, and then there's accent pieces to go around your frame like florals, a whole bunch of different colors or different sizes and shapes of flowers that go with this. Is super nice. I'm going to take the leaf frame. Now what you do is you die cut out two of them, and then you can flip it around and create a frame. So you just have one of these, so you want to die cut out two of these to create your frame. I'm going to do this with white cardstock, and I'm going to do it 4 times actually. Basically they're the same shape, but you're going to flip one around and then add a little bit of glue to the end of one, and then take that second one and layer it on top. They layer very beautifully. The other frame is really dainty and beautiful. Later on this month I'll make another card with this die set, but it's super easy to line up. I'm overlapping actually one of the leaves on the very bottom, and then we'll line up the top, and you can see the diamond shape that it creates. Since this die set does have sentiments, it has the word thank, and then it has the letters H-E-L-O-U and Y. So you can spell out you, and you can spell out hello. So you can make a thank you card and a just because card. So there's my frame. I'm actually going to create a pattern with it. I'm going to make it a diagonal pattern with the 2 extra pieces. So that's how it's basically going to go. Now I'm going to bring in my Distress Oxide inks and a piece of white cardstock, and we're going to add some color using Dusty Concord, Worn Lipstick, and then also Wild Honey. I'm going to blend all 3 of these together. I want a bright card against a very soft white background, and I thought these colors would be perfect because how bright they are. Adding a little bit of Dusty Concord, just using my finger daubers here. Next we'll bring in Worn Lipstick. I'm going to add a little bit of pink right below it, kind of blending them both together. I'm not using Bristol Smooth cardstock, I'm just using my regular heavyweight white cardstock. I wanted to die cut out my sentiment with what we're doing right now, and so I thought a heavier weight cardstock would be easier to layer all together. Bristol Smooth is actually ideal for ink blending because it blends so seamlessly, but since we're die cutting, I think I can get away with this. Third color is Wild Honey. Blending that with Worn Lipstick, and I think it's going to work out great. We're just going to do a little more blending. I want a little more pink in here. And I'm happy with the result here. Now we're going to die cut out some smaller flowers, so we're going to create a little bit of a color spot off to the side here. We'll just add a little Worn Lipstick, a little bit of Dusty Concord, and a little bit of Wild Honey. And then this way, when you die cut flowers, one flower will have pink and purple, another one will have purple and yellow. So nice way to die cut out flowers like this. Okay, we're going to take our sentiment. I'm going to use the words, the letters actually, H, E, L, and O. There's only one L, so we want to die cut out the word, 2 L's for the word hello. And I'm kind of lining them up so it looks continuous when I die cut them out. We'll add the H and the E, making sure I get a little bit of that purple in there. Then we'll add the L. I'm going to skip a space because I'll go back in after I die cut out one L and then add the second L right in between here. Now in the die set there's lots of different shapes and sizes of flowers, and I love that. I'm just going to use the traditional looking flower. I think it has 5 petals, no, 4 petals on there. There's 2 of them actually, which makes it really nice for die cutting, and each one of these has 2 flowers, so I'm die cutting out 4 flowers at one pass, which saves time. Next we're going to bring in some green oxide inks for my leaves. This is Shabby Shutters, and then I'm also going to bring in Forest Moss, and I take that back, that's not Shabby Shutters, that is Bundle Sage. Pretty similar in color. Blend those both together. just so when I die cut I have two different kind of leaves, not all the same. We'll add our little leaf die, and the leaf die will die cut out quite a few leaves at one shot too. Run this through the die cut machine, and then I'm also going to die cut out the word hello with white cardstock twice. We're going to create a chipboard effect, giving our sentiment a little bit of dimension, so that's why I did that. Next I have a strip of white cardstock. Now this strip is a little bit shy of 1 inch. I think 1 inch was too wide for my letters, and we're going to create a vertical sentiment on this strip. I'm adding glue behind each one of my white letters, stacking them together, and then I'll put the colored letter on top to create, like I said, a chipboard effect. And it does add dimension, and I like a sturdy weight to the card too. Makes it look really solid. If you didn't want to do this, you could die cut out your letters with fun foam too. I think that would work out great. We'll finish off with our last O, and they are ready to go. Now with my 1 inch strip piece of cardstock, I thought we'd create a skinny tag. So we're going to take a pencil and mark the very center of the top of our tag. We're going to create our own. And I'm going to mark the left and the right, and then I'm going to do a little trimming. And I think I got it crooked a little bit. Just take our scissors and we're going to trim off the left and the right. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I do tags like this, sometimes it takes me a few times to get it nice and even, even with my pencil marks. But I'm just going to erase those, and you can see here my left is a little bit off. I'm going to trim that a little bit more, and then I think we can get away with the way this looks. Okay, now since we are making a homemade tag, I like to add my own eyelets. So I have a pink one here. I think it goes really good with our hello colors. I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile and punch a hole in the very top here. And then I have my pink eyelet. Like I said, we're going to insert that. When you make a homemade tag, sometimes adding an eyelet just makes it a little bit more finished. Okay, now we are going to flip over all of our letters and add a little bit of glue behind them. Just a little bit. I didn't want it oozing out on my background. We're going to add it to all the letters. Now to evenly space this, what I like to do is add my first letter and my last letter. So I'll add my H and then the O, and then I'll add my next two letters. Then I'll add my E and then my L, and then the center letter will be my L, and then I can just kind of position it in between. Nice thing about glue too is you have a little bit of wiggle room to position it even left to right too. At the L on the bottom and the E on the top, and again add our L last but not least. So we have a nice dimensional hello tag. While we have our tag ready, I'm going to go ahead and take some white twine and we're going to thread this through. I just loop the end and put the loop through my eyelet, and then thread the end twine through it, and then this way it makes it easier for me to tie my bow. And the bow actually for me lays a little bit more flatter when I do this. I'll just grab each end and tie a loop. If you want to go for, I think, some colored baker's twine, I think would be really pretty too. My idea was kind of to go for like a beachy, soft, breezy kind of a hello. So that's why I wanted a white background. So there's my tag. I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of white cardstock. Now this is slightly smaller than my A2 size panel. I'm going to add this to my embossing folder. I'm using an embossing folder for Foot Stamper's Journey called Beach Towel. It has horizontal stripes on there in different widths, and I think it's going to work out great. The size of my panel is 4 inches by 5 1/4, so it's going to leave me a little bit of a border on my card base. I'm going to go ahead and add glue to my frame right down the center, and then this frame here is going to go right in the middle of my panel. Love that. Now with my extra 2 pieces, I want to continue that diagonal pattern. So I'm going to flip them over and add glue behind each one of these. This one's going to go on the bottom right corner, kind of lining it up. And there's going to be some excess overhanging, and that's okay. I'm going to end up trimming that off. I'll add glue to this one. Then we're going to add this to the top left. And then just using my scissors, what's overhanging, I'll just trim off, and our panel is good to go. I'm going to flip over our tag, and I'm going to add 3 pieces of foam squares. One on top, bottom, and middle. And this tag is going to go right down the center of our frame here. Kind of even it out a little bit. And I realized that one of my bow ends is tucked underneath the foam adhesive. So I'm just going to use my jewel picker and kind of pull that out. Okay, once we have this done, I'm going to flip it around, grab my card base, which is a standard A2 size card base. Since I have my glue, we'll just use glue to adhere this to the card front. And then we can add our flowers. Now I die cut out, again, a few flowers, making sure I had different colors, the pinks and the purples and the orangey yellows. What I found was easier when you added these little flowers. The leaves are very small. I found it easier to add a dot of glue and then add your leaves, and then add another dot of glue and then add your flower right on top. Made it really easy. These flowers are so pretty and so dainty. I think they go really well with this frame. So we add a dot of glue, add 2 little leaves, just flipping them over, and then I'm going to add another dot of glue and add my flower. I actually had 1 flower with 2 leaves left over. I like an odd number on my card, especially when they're bold like this. So we're going to open it up and add 1 flower to the bottom right corner. I think that would be pretty for the inside. We'll add both of our little leaves here. And add our last flower. Okay, for finishing touches, I'm going to scoop my leaves over here a little bit more, but for finishing touches, I'm going to go ahead and bring in some glitter. This is stickles from Ranger. These are diamond stickles. And there's already embossed detail in the center of these flowers, but I want them to be a little bit sparkly too. So I'm going to use my diamond stickles and add little dots in between, or on the center of each of my flowers. And that's my project for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fabulous rest of your weekend, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.